Emphasizes the expansion of exercise facilities is essential for building a healthier society with fewer diseases.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome to PSMNEWS in English with me, Mariam Shaushat. The Maldives and United States Agency for International Development, USaid, holds discussions on enhancing existing cooperation. The discussions were held as part of the Minister of Foreign Affairs Musa Zamir's ongoing visit to the US. As part of his visit to the US, Minister Zamir met with the administrator of USaid, Samantha Power. Ministry of Foreign Affairs disclosed that the productive meeting saw discussions on enhancing existing cooperation. Furthermore, the minister conveyed gratitude for the ongoing support through USaid. The minister and the administrator held discussions on future endeavors. Minister Zamir is currently in Washington. In addition to the USaid administrator, Minister Zamir will be meeting with the US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, where he will hold discussions on bilateral cooperation between the Maldives and the United States. In addition to this, Minister Zamir will participate in an interactive discussion at the prestigious Council of Foreign Relations. He will also engage with the Maldivian community in Washington, D.C., fostering stronger ties with expatriates. Following his engagement in Washington, D.C., Minister Zamir will travel to New York. There, he will meet with the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres and the Under-Secretary General for Economic and Social Affairs, Lee Junhua. These discussions aim to bolster the Maldives' collaboration with the UN on various global and regional issues. Minister Zamir's itinerary in New York also includes meetings with local tour operators and travel advisors to promote tourism in the Maldives. Additionally, he will connect with the Maldivian communities residing in New York and New Jersey to discuss their concerns and strengthen community relations. Minister's official visit to the US, which began on June 24th, aims to strengthen the Maldives-US partnership and reaffirm commitment to multilateralism through meetings with senior US government and United Nations officials. He is scheduled to conclude the trip on June 27th. Accompanying Minister Zamir on the official visit are Secretary for Bilateral Affairs Dr. Hala Hamid and Senior Under-Secretary Hassan Hussein Shihab. Minister of Cities, Local Government and Public Works Adam Sharif Umar emphasizes the government's commitment to supporting local councils and ensuring they can provide beneficial services to residents. He made the statement during a ceremony to celebrate the handover of waste management vehicles to the Mala City Council.
These vehicles were part of a broader donation initiative aimed at enhancing waste management capabilities across various councils. In his speech, Minister Adam Sharif acknowledged the significant challenges faced by the councils due to a lack of adequate resources and facilities. He highlighted that addressing these issues is a top priority of the ministry. As such, efforts are underway to distribute waste management vehicles to all cities, with the vehicles procured through assistance from the Chinese government. During the ceremony, Mala City Council Mayor Adam Azim expressed his appreciation for the government's full support. He noted that the new vehicles would greatly aid in maintaining the cleanliness of the city. The government is actively providing necessary facilities and equipment to local councils to ensure the provision of quality services to residents. Part of this initiative includes establishing a public works unit in each constituency to expand municipal services and enhance the overall efficiency and effectiveness of local governance.
Minister of Sports, Fitness and Recreation Abdullah Rafi emphasizes the expansion of exercise facilities is essential for building a healthier society with fewer diseases. Minister made this statement during the reopening ceremony of the newly refurbished gym at the Salahuddin parking area.
The gym was officially reopened by Minister Rafi and Mala City Council's Mayor Adam Azim. In his address, Mr. Rafi highlighted that investments in creating a healthy community are highly beneficial. He pointed out that non-communicable diseases such as diabetes, high blood pressure, and cholesterol are prevalent in the country, and regular exercise is one of the most effective ways to prevent them. Minister Rafi also mentioned that increased public participation in fitness activities strengthens societal relationships and contributes to mental wellness, aligning with the government's goal of fostering a healthier society. Mayor Azim echoed the minister's sentiments, expressing his commitment to collaborating with the sports ministry to establish more gyms across the city. He mentioned plans to ensure that outdoor gyms are always accessible with shaded areas to enhance user comfort. The reopening of the gym marks one of many initiatives aimed at providing residents with ample opportunities for sports and recreation, reflecting the ongoing efforts to improve the city's fitness infrastructure.
Tourism stakeholders discuss new and innovative ways to promote the Maldives as an enticing travel destination. The discussions were held between the Minister of Tourism Ibrahim Faisal and the Managing Director of Maldives Marketing and Public Relations Corporation MMPRC Ibrahim Shiuri. The meeting was held at Ministry of Tourism. During the meeting, Shiuri disclosed that MMPRC is working diligently to enhance the promotion of Maldives. He highlighted that the corporation has planned to implement more innovative promotional strategies and mentioned that details of these strategies will be disclosed within the next 2 weeks. As part of its agenda to establish the Maldives as a top-of-mind destination, MMPRC is currently organizing a roadshow in neighboring India. The roadshow, named Explore Maldives, is scheduled for June 26th and is being conducted in collaboration with Manthaya. The administration also aims to hold several activities in partnership with tourism industry stakeholders to increase the number of visitor arrivals to the Maldives. Chongqing Airlines of China inaugurates its flights to the Maldives with the first flight landing at Welana International Airport on June 24th after a stopover in Sri Lanka. A special ceremony was held to celebrate the airline's maiden flight to the country, which arrived with 82 passengers. During the event, Maldives Airports Company Limited MACL's Managing Director Ibrahim Sharif Mohammed emphasized the company's role as a vital link between the Maldivian tourism industry and the world. He reaffirmed MACL's commitment to working with tourism industry stakeholders to attract more airlines. He highlighted that the introduction of flights from additional Chinese cities would significantly benefit the Maldivian economy. Chinese ambassador to the Maldives, Wang Lijing, also spoke at the ceremony, noting that the summer holidays are expected to draw a substantial number of tourists to the Maldives. She underscored the importance of having flights from various parts of China to enhance connectivity. The event was attended by Tourism Minister Ibrahim Faisal, Chongqing Airlines Vice President and officials from Maldives Marketing and Public Relations Corporation MMPRC, Maldives Association of Travel Agents and Tour Operators Matato and MACL. Chongqing Airlines is set to operate 3 weekly flights to the Maldives using A320 aircraft, each with a capacity of 165 seats. Currently, 3 other Chinese airlines, which are Beijing Capital Airlines, Sichuan Airlines and China Eastern Airlines, operate flights to the Maldives. China remains the top tourist market for the Maldives, with over 113,000 Chinese arrivals so far this year, according to the statistics of Ministry of Tourism. Housing Development Corporation HDC recommences the land reclamation project in Hulumale Phase 3.
HDC initially inaugurated the reclamation work for Phase 3 on September 22, 2023. The project is divided into 3 areas, with substantial progress already made. Dredging operations have been completed for 10 hectares of land in Site A, and 16 hectares of the planned 29 hectares in Site B have been dredged. The project is being carried out by the Sri Lankan company, Capital Marine and Civil Construction Company Private Limited. In total, 63 hectares of land will be reclaimed under this initiative. HDC plans to utilize the newly reclaimed land for various purposes, including industrial and marina use, while also addressing the housing shortage. Similar to Phase 2, Phase 3 will feature parks, sports and recreational centers, as well as bridges and roads to cater to the needs of residents.
Managing Director of Regional Airports Company Limited RACL Ahmad Mubin announces that adequate resources have been secured to enhance operations at Mawarulu Airport.
Speaking on a program aired on PSMNEWS, Mubi noted that while Mavarlu Airport was recently established, it initially lacked essential services. He disclosed that arrangements have been made to provide utility and ambulance services at the airport, along with several other improvements. Mavarlu Airport, which began operations in 2020, faced challenges due to the absence of some critical services. This year's budget includes funds to introduce and enhance these services. RSCL is focused on making Mavarlu a more comfortable destination for visitors by improving amenities such as cafes and restaurants and enhancing transportation services, including ferry services for employees. The development of Mavarlu Airport was contracted to Maldives Transport and Contracting Company (MTCC) and was completed in 2 phases. The airport features a 1,200-meter runway with scheduled flights operating on Thursdays and Saturdays. Efforts are ongoing to ensure that Mavarlu Airport meets the needs of its visitors and staff, reflecting a commitment to improving regional connectivity and service quality.
Minister of Tourism Ibrahim Faisal announces that efforts are underway to raise the budget of the Maldives Marketing and Public Relations Corporation (MMPRC) to $15 million for 2025. The announcement was made during the ceremony marking the commencement of operations by China's Chongqing Airlines to the Maldives.
Minister Faisal emphasized the government's dedication to enhancing the tourism industry and highlighted the critical role MMPRC plays in this expansion. He expressed his vision of increasing MMPRC's budget to $15 million, noting that the investment in tourism would significantly boost economic growth in the long term. For this year, MMPRC's approved budget was $9.99 million. The proposed increase for next year would raise the budget by $4 million. Providing further insights, MMPRC's Managing Director Ibrahim Shuri discussed ongoing efforts to promote the Maldives on a global scale. He emphasized the importance of seeking opportunities for international advertising and mentioned that discussions with all relevant industry authorities would be conducted. Shuri also highlighted the need to observe and learn from the strategies used by other competitive nations in promoting their tourism industries. The Ministry of Tourism has revealed plans to advertise each individual island of the nation separately, ensuring that the unique features of every island are showcased. The ministry has also assured support for all efforts aimed at expanding the tourism industry across the entire nation.
United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres demands that big consumer technology firms take responsibility and acknowledge the damage products are inflicting on people and communities.
Taking aim at the companies which he did not name and their social media platforms, he said that the companies have the power to mitigate harm to people and societies around the world. He added that they also have the power to change business models that profit from disinformation and hate. He warned that opaque algorithms push people into information bubbles and reinforce prejudices including racism, misogyny and discrimination of all kinds, with common targets being women, refugees, migrants and minorities. Guterres was speaking at a news conference to launch a set of UN Global Principles for Information Integrity, which he called a starting point to combat misinformation, disinformation and hate speech. He stated that some stakeholders carry an outsized responsibility demanding action. He said advertisers and the public relations industry must stop monetizing harmful content, citing the climate crisis. He additionally urged media outlets to raise and enforce editorial standards and find advertisers who are part of the solution, not the problem, while saying governments should commit to a free, viable, independent and plural media landscape. Guterres also told governments to ensure regulations, uphold human rights, refrain from drastic measures, including blanket internet shutdowns, and respect the right to freedom of opinion and expression. Last week, U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy called for a warning label to be added to social media apps as a reminder that those platforms have caused harm to young people, especially adolescents.
U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken calls on Israel during a meeting with its defense minister to avoid further escalation in Lebanon as they discussed efforts to reach a deal to free hostages in Gaza.
Defense Minister Yoav Gallant was on a visit to Washington, seeking to reaffirm the value of ties with Israel's top ally after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu publicly chastised the United States for what he said was a delay in weapons deliveries. In a 2-hour meeting with Gallant at the State Department, Blinken discussed indirect diplomacy between Israel and Hamas on an agreement that secures the release of all hostages and alleviates the suffering of the Palestinian people. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller said that Blinken underscored the importance of avoiding further escalation of the conflict and reaching a diplomatic resolution that allows both Israeli and Lebanese families to return to their homes. Tensions have been rising with growing exchanges of fire between Israel and Lebanon's Iranian-backed militant movement Hezbollah. Netanyahu has said Israeli forces are winding up the most intense part of the Gaza war and will redeploy to the northern border, although he cast the move as defensive. President Joe Biden on May 31st laid out a plan for a ceasefire in Gaza and the release of hostages. Hamas, which launched the conflict with its October 7 attack on Israel, has come back with its own demands, and the United States hopes the gaps can be bridged. Netanyahu, who has faced major protests calling for him to accept the deal in recent days, has annoyed the Biden administration by accusing Washington of cutting back arms and ammunition deliveries. Gallant, without naming Netanyahu, took a different tack. According to Gallant's office, he told Blinken that eyes of both our enemies and our friends are on the relationship between the U.S. and Israel.
The CEO of a South Korean lithium battery manufacturer apologizes following a massive factory fire that killed 23 workers, but said the company had complied with all required safety precautions and training.
Fire officials said that the fire on Monday, which began at a factory with 35,000 lithium batteries, produced thick smoke that spread quickly, and the workers inside the second-floor location likely lost consciousness and succumbed within seconds. Firefighters with search dogs combed the gutted structure on Tuesday in Hwasong, an industrial cluster southwest of the capital Seoul, and found the last person who had been unaccounted for, raising the death toll to 23. 17 of those who died were Chinese, and one Laotian was among those killed. Most of the workers were hired temporarily at the plant packing primary lithium batteries run by South Korea-based Aircel, which is majority owned by S-Connect. Aircel CEO Park Soon-kwon offered condolences to the workers who were killed and apologized to everyone who had been affected by the accident. At the scene of the fire, Park told reporters that they will be actively taking part in the investigation by authorities and will do their best to determine the cause of the accident and to take measures to prevent a repeat of such an accident. Officials from agencies including the National Forensic Service, police and the fire department entered the factory as part of a joint investigation. The fire was the latest industrial accident in a country where dozens of manufacturing workers lose their lives on the job each year, despite repeated calls to improve workplace safety.
A Delhi city minister starts an indefinite hunger strike to demand more drinking water for India's capital, where taps in some of its poorest neighborhoods are running nearly dry in the middle of searing heat.
Delhi Water Minister Atishi said on Monday that there are 2.8 million people in the city who are aching for just a drop of water. Millions of Indians face water shortages every summer when water demand rises in farms, offices and homes against a limited supply, but a prolonged heat wave this year has worsened the shortfall, including in Delhi and the southern tech hub of Bangalore. Delhi relies on the Yamuna River that runs through the capital for most of its water needs, but the river slows down during dry summer months, causing shortages that lead to protests and calls for better water conservation. Atishi blamed the neighboring farming state of Haryana for guzzling up a large share of river water. Haryana's government responded that it was Delhi's mismanagement that was causing water shortages. Experts said a federal-level review of decades-old water-sharing pacts was needed to accommodate population growth. Delhi, a city of 20 million people, is one of the world's most densely populated capitals, where upscale neighborhoods and manicured lawns are just a few miles away from unplanned working-class areas and slums. The Delhi government is working on plans to improve the groundwater table by reviving lakes and storing water overflow from the Yamuna during the seasonal monsoon rains, but officials say the summer shortfall is difficult to tackle by these measures alone.
An early Ferran Torres strikes gave Spain's second-string side a 1-0 win over Albania as the three-time champions finished the Euro 2024 group stage with a perfect record, and the defeat eliminated their opponents.
Barcelona winger Torres finished off a fine move in the 13th minute in Dusseldorf to puncture the atmosphere in a stadium filled with a majority of noisy Albanian fans. However, this match was not a cruise for Spain team, showing 10 changes to the side which started their 1-0 victory over Italy 4 days earlier. Spain had already secured top spot in Group B, but Albania knew they realistically needed a win to go through, and that made for a frantic encounter at times, particularly as they pushed forward in the second half. Despite their best efforts, Albania go home after picking up only 1 point and finishing bottom of a difficult section. It is a regression for them for their debut European Championship appearance in 2016, when they also went out in the first round but did manage to win a game. Albania's Brazilian coach Silvino said that he was proud of the players, adding that it was a good experience for the country. Beating Spain, who have probably been the most impressive so far in Germany, was always going to be a big ask for them. It is the first time since 2008 that Spain have won all 3 group games at either a World Cup or European Championship. Torres, scorer of 20 goals in 44 appearances for his country, said that the team was forging its own path when asked to compare this Spain team to the side that won the title in 2008. Spanish coach Luis de la Fuente can now turn his full attentions to a last 16 tie in Cologne on Sunday against an as-yet unknown third-place finisher. Albania, ranked 66th in the world, knew it would be a huge challenge to beat Spain, having lost all of their 8 previous meetings.
Former national football team midfielder Mohammad Arif, known as Baka, passes away. The 38-year-old athlete was admitted to ADK Hospital's ICU following his return from Hajj pilgrimage. PSMNEWS learned that Mohammad Arif's health deteriorated upon his return to the country, where he battled a fever and subsequent infection. Mohammad Arif Baka played a pivotal role in Maldives' victorious 2008 SAF Championship squad. Despite facing challenges with injuries and fitness later in his career, he never formally retired from the sport. Notably, Mohammad Arif was among the few Maldivian players to compete in a foreign league, having previously played in Myanmar. His career was marked by numerous achievements at the club level. He leaves behind a legacy that resonates deeply within the football community. According to the head of Picnic, a Dutch app-only supermarket rapidly expanding into Germany and France, advances in artificial intelligence (AI) are poised to drive a massive boom in online grocery deliveries.
Picnic has disrupted the Dutch supermarket landscape with its offer of free delivery in a time window of 20 minutes, made possible by squeezing efficiency out of huge amounts of data. Chief Executive Officer Mikkel Muller said that the firm already uses AI for a vast range of operations at the firm's 43,000 square meter distribution hub in Utrecht, central Netherlands. He forecasted that as technology improves and data sets grow, predictions will become more accurate, further reducing food waste and offering even more precise time slots for customers. Picnic has developed its own in-house software to fine-tune every element of the delivery process, from processing and packing stock at the warehouse to the famously complex last mile of dropping off the good. Delivery times are calculated with extraordinary precision, with reams of information crunched by 300 data analysts and 300 software engineers at Picnic's headquarters. Unlike a physical supermarket, every order comes through on the app, so the firm knows exactly what it needs to order, deliver, and how long that should take. The firm estimates this results in 7 times less food waste than at regular supermarkets. Gregor Borgholz, head of Picnic's operations in France, said that there's not a single baguette that is ordered and not delivered. The firm's drivers in the ubiquitous white Picnic vans receive a rating after every trip based on their driving, even assessing whether they have sped too fast around corners. The huge investments are required in bespoke software, plus the firm's distribution hubs with 14 kilometers of conveyor belts, means profits have been hard to come by.
And that's all we have for you right now. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more news updates. Have a good day. Goodbye.